amigos, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos a Cafecito con Masha. Y pues seguimos aquí con el contenido olímpico. Como saben, ya les había anunciado que íbamos a estar teniendo contenido todos los días prácticamente, para no dejarles ni un día sin nada que puedan ver en estos Juegos Olímpicos de Beijing 2022. Antes que nada, quiero recordarles, por favor, suscríbanse a este canal, síganme en mis redes sociales para que puedan estar un poco al tanto del contenido, porque ahora sí, con tanto contenido se nos puede perder un poquito, pero como les menciono, pues habrá mucho más. También quiero recordarles de la membresía que tengo. Habrá mucho contenido exclusivo. Ya estoy empezando a subir algunos videos exclusivos para miembros. Son algunos videos exclusivos detrás de cámaras, de mis narraciones de estos Juegos Olímpicos. Otros videos también bastante divertidos. También habrá algunos en vivos y algunas entrevistas que serán solamente para miembros. Así que vayan aquí abajo, al lado del botón de suscripción, a donde está el botón que dice unirse y adquieran su membresía Beijing o superior para que puedan tener acceso a todo esto. Y nada más recordarles que si quieren hacer alguna pregunta o algún comentario al final de la entrevista, no dejen de utilizar el super chat. Hello everyone, welcome to Cafecito con Masha. I'm very excited because we have an amazing interview today. And of course, I don't want to leave you without any content. I will be uploading content every day because of the Beijing Olympics. You know, I'm commentating the Olympics and I'm having lives every day of competition. After the competition, we are here live talking about, you know, the event, the programs, doing an analysis and everything. So I want to ask you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done it yet. Follow me on my social media so you can see the content that I will be uploading. And I also want to remind you that I have the channel membership that will allow you to watch all the Olympic content I will be uploading. I have some behind the scenes videos I will be uploading for members only. Also, some of the interviews will be for members only. And well, I want to see you here every live, every interview, so you don't miss anything. And today I'm very excited because we have an amazing skater. He's one of my favorites for all times. When I started skating, I remember I watched him and I was like, oh my God, I want to be like him. He is the most decorated American male skater of his time. And I want to introduce you to Todd Eldredge. Oh, hold on. I put you on the screen by yourself. Okay, now you're here. Hello, welcome, Todd. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
I'm so happy to have you here. And of course, this is like the perfect time to have you because you have like such amazing titles. You are a six-time US champion. You won your first title at 18. You are three-time Olympian, six-time US champion, like I said, world champion. Oh my God. And you are in the US Hall of Fame. I mean, you are like the big deal in figure skating. So to have you here at Beijing Olympics is like a dream come true. So I want to ask you some questions about your U.S. titles. Like I was saying, you won your first U.S. title when you were 18 years old. It was in 1990, and the last one in 2002. So, what's the feeling behind that? I mean, I know in the USA it's like a huge thing to be US champion. So, what's the feeling behind that?
Well, it's fantastic. I mean, obviously, I to be, a national champion in your own country, no matter where you're from, is an awesome feeling. I mean, you're the best in your entire country, so it's a fantastic feeling for me. To win it my first time at 18 years old, and then my last time at 30 years old, is very, very unique. And, it's something that not many people, the longevity of the sport is different. So not many people have been able to, win a title at a younger age and then win a title at an older age. So, I mean, they carry, each title carries with it, something special. And the first one is always kind of like, wow, what just happened? I don't even understand it. And then the last one has a whole different meaning because it's the culmination of, your entire career in the country.
And yeah, like you said, you're first at 18 and the last at 30. And that's not usual today. I mean, right now we see skaters retiring so young. And in your case, your career was so long. I mean, when I started skating in 1993 or 94, and you were like the big deal in that moment. But then I kept skating, and you were still there, and it was amazing because in that time you kept seeing all your favorite skaters retiring, and you kept being there until your last Olympics and everything. I was there cheering from my home, so it was an amazing career. And you're also the 1996 world champion. Oh my God! I mean, you were in that year. You became the first American skater to win the title in 8 years. The one before was Brian Boitano. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I mean, obviously fantastic. To be able to win a world title is just something that it's difficult to put into words. Even now, it's to consider yourself the best in the world at anything, no matter what sport you're doing. It's incredible. For me, especially in '96, I had early success in 1990, 91. 92 went to the Olympics, didn't go as well as I'd hoped, and then a couple of years dealing with a back injury and some poor performances and some questions on whether I was going to continue and if I would be able to get back to the top of the sport, at least nationally, and then see what I could do internationally. So I winning in '96 after having a couple of years off of the world team and then being the silver medalist in '95. That kind of sparked everything, and then to hit that peak and skate in front of the amazing fans in Edmonton was really cool, and to kind of put it all together at the right time, the feeling is just undescribable. When you can put everything together and do everything that you've trained so hard to do and put it together on the biggest stage, it's fantastic. It's amazing.
But it was a tough competition, and I mean, the crowd was crazy in that moment. Your reaction is everything. And Rudy Galindo, I mean, even though he was one of your competitors, also he was cheering for you. I mean, you did so great in that competition, and I think that was one of those amazing moments we like to watch on TV on the competitions. Like we want to watch that at World Championships, at the Olympics. Is one of those perfect times,
Yeah.
when the program is so perfect and the crowd goes crazy.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I think of the guys now competing in Beijing, and the fact that they don't have that concept, that opportunity to skate in front of a packed house. I mean, at the Olympic Games,
I know.
I mean, I just think back on my last Olympics in 2002, and it was filled. There were no seats left in the house, and to finish, a good performance there, and to have everybody standing and cheering, and the energy in the building. I mean, it's just something that you can't match and you can't replicate, and I feel bad for the guys that are competing now. I mean, they're doing what they have to do, and it's an unfortunate kind of situation, but it is what it is for now, and yeah, it when you skate in front of a packed house, there's just nothing like it.
Yeah, I bet. And of course, this is not your only world medal. Can you remind us which other medals you have in world championships?
Oh, well, I won 6 world medals. In 1991, I was the bronze medalist. And then in 95, the silver medalist. 96 was the gold medal. 97 and 98, silver medals again. And then took a little bit of a break and came back in 2001 and, regained a bronze medal there before the Olympic season. So it was, again, a long stretch of time, but in the number of times that I competed at the World Championships, to come away with 6 medals and one title is pretty fun.
But I think that this is what makes your career so amazing. I mean, it was so long and full of success. So that's remarkable. And well, of course, you competed at 3 Olympics also. And I always want to ask this: how did you feel at your first Olympic experience in Albertville?
The first Olympics, again, I was dealing with a back injury, and I'd started to feel a lot better before I got there. So, to be selected to the team and to be going to the Olympics and to show up there, everything that kind of went into it, you can't describe your entire thought process before the Olympics of what you envision it might be like. And, thinking, oh, it's going to be really cool. I've seen it on TV and I've watched, different Olympic opening ceremonies, and, to be standing with all the other athletes from all the other countries, and to be standing with your own country and the athletes from all the different sports, you're among the best of the best in every sport. And it's a pretty cool feeling to be walking in and to, represent your flag and your country. And the magnitude of the event takes on something so much bigger than, what you're going to do on the ice or what you're going to do. I mean, just the opening ceremonies, the grandeur of everything that was, I was just amazed. I mean, in Albertville, the opening ceremonies was very Cirque du Soleil. So it was really pretty cool, watching some of the stuff and having had seen a Cirque du Soleil show before that. It was just kind of like, wow, this is really cool. And it's on such a bigger scale. It just was pretty amazing. I mean, and each games, I mean, Nagano did such an amazing job with their opening and closing ceremonies, and Salt Lake City, the same thing. I mean, everybody just, you can't put it, when you watch it on TV, you can't really appreciate the magnitude of what's going on and what it is and what it feels like, and the energy, it's amazing. I mean, 92 was such a special moment. I mean, you think of when you're a young kid and you're skating and you think, well, maybe I'd like to go to the Olympics someday. That'd be kind of fun. And then you're there, realizing that dream, and it hits you a little bit when you're there. You're like, I'm really here. This is actually happening. I thought about this moment for a long time, and now it's really actually happening.
I have heard so many times that the skaters are not able to enjoy in full the first Olympics because it's huge, right? So it's like a big deal. Were you able to enjoy?
I was in that moment in the opening ceremonies. I definitely was. Knowing what was to come and competing and stuff. I mean, you're still so focused on what you have to do, your job that you have to do while you're there, because that's why you're there. You're not there just to go to the opening ceremonies and be like, oh, that was fun. You have a lot to do after that. So, to be still focused on what was to come, it takes a little bit maybe away from the concept of what's going to happen or what you're going through at the time of the opening ceremonies at your first games. So there's that, but the second games, the third games, you really can kind of soak it in and really enjoy it much more, because you know what to expect, and what you're doing at the time, and the feeling at the time, and just the camaraderie of everybody at that moment of the opening ceremonies. And then, okay, that's over with, great, now let's go do some skating.
So your second Olympics were Nagano 98, and you got your best placement at Olympics. It was so close to the medals. You were fourth. And what were your thoughts in that moment? I know it's kind of hard to be in fourth place. I mean, I think it's better when you are kind of far if you're not medaling. But you were so close and you performed so amazing. So what were your thoughts in those Olympics?
I had a good short program. I skated pretty well in the short, so I was third after the short, and kind of set myself up for at least to get a good shot at getting a medal. And I was a little bit nervous going into it, and and at that time thinking it was probably going to be the last time I competed on Olympic ice. And I skated okay, made a couple of simple mistakes, like right there doing triple axel double toe instead of triple. And then, a few other things, just kind of a little shaky here and there, but that's part of the Olympics, and it's part of the nerves and all that goes into it. And you fight your way through it. But, I struggled towards the end, and, made a mistake on my second triple axel, and then tried it again. And unfortunately it didn't go well. I ended up on my backside, and that was all it takes, and at the Olympics, I mean, sometimes those guys go out there, everybody skates great, and that's all it takes. It just takes one or two mistakes, and
Yeah.
that's the difference between getting a medal and sitting in fourth place. It
Yeah,
is what it is.
and those were difficult Olympics. I mean, like all the men were so good. I mean, the competition was hard. It's kind of like we're watching right now in Beijing. It's like every guy was amazing. So you do a little mistake and it takes everything, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's the way it should be. I mean, you're at the peak and the pinnacle of your sport and the biggest event, and everybody should be on their A game. Everybody should be skating their best, and
Yeah.
if they are, then it's going to be tough. And one mistake will make the difference. And so we'll. I mean, we saw it in the short program in Beijing. Yuzu had a mistake on his quad sow at the beginning, and sure enough, I mean, he's got a long way to climb from where he is
I
to
know.
make it.
We'll be talking about Beijing. First, I want to talk about you, and then I want to hear everything about your opinion because you're the expert here. So, oh my God, yeah, like at Olympics, every time happens so unexpected things. At Nagano happened so many unexpected things, like with you and with Michelle Kwan also. I mean, so many things, and we were heartbroken. But that's Olympics. I mean, that happens.
That's the nature. Well, it's the nature of sport too, right? I mean, any sport you look at. I like golf, and you watch a golf tournament. Tiger Woods will win one. This one will win another one. Phil Mickelson here. Jordan Spieth there. I mean, all these different golfers winning different times. I mean, you can't always win. And
Yeah.
that would be fun, but it would kind of be boring. But it would be
I
fun.
know, yeah.
But it's and that's just the nature of sport. I mean, some days you're on it and you're feeling great, and some days you just don't have it.
Yeah, that happens. And finally, your last Olympics were Salt Lake City 2002. And like you said, you thought Nagano were going to be your last, but then you were at Salt Lake City. And how was your experience different to the other Olympics in Salt Lake City?
I knew for sure that Salt Lake City was going to be my final Olympics. I wasn't going to try for 34.
Yeah.
And going into it, I was skating really well. I was feeling good. I probably felt the best that I've ever felt in my entire career, which is kind of weird to say at 30, to be feeling better than I was even when I was 18. So, I had trained, I was ready. I was, feeling excited about it. I had a couple of years where I stepped away from competitive skating, and then in 2001 came back to kind of feel it out, see if I was going to be, competitive with the rest of the field, and able to kind of make a run at it. And I felt good, so I was like, yeah, let's do this thing. And going into it, knowing it was going to be here in the United States, and what that was going to represent, to be able to kind of finish my competitive career on home ice, if you will, and at the Olympic Games, it's just kind of a perfect storybook ending. Didn't get a medal, but that's okay. I mean, it was such an amazing Olympics, and to have the support of the hometown and crowd, and in the final moments of a competitive career, it just, that moment right there, just standing at center ice on the last Olympic go and the last competitive event, and everybody's on their feet. There's just nothing better than that view right there, center ice at the Olympics with a standing ovation.
Oh my God. Yeah, I remember this moment. I mean, like everybody was crying. I cannot believe that you were not. That was like the perfect moment. And yeah, like you say, it was like the time to retire, the perfect scenario to retire, and all the people standing cheering for you in your country. You were so happy.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, it just didn't get any better. I mean, I skated very well. I fell on my quad at the beginning of that program, but other than that, after that, I skated a clean program. So to be able to skate, with one mistake and a really great program in my last Olympic skate, felt really good. It was kind of a nice way to finish it off and say goodbye to the Olympics, and to goodbye to competitive, skating, and move on to the next chapter. And yeah, it was great.
And we should explain why you left competitive skating for a while. Back in your time, it was usual to, have like professional skating or competitive skating. So you did some professional skating in between there. It's not like today that the competitors can do also like professional shows. It was a different time. So can you explain to the people why?
Yeah, I mean, at that time, I mean, there were a lot more opportunities at that time for skaters. I mean, to compete at the Olympics and be on the competitive track, it was one way to go, and you could do that, and you could do some shows once the competition season was over with, but it wasn't kind of the main focus. And I had competed for a long time and decided to kind of step back a little bit, and to have the opportunity to step back yet still remain eligible to compete was fantastic. Because it worked out well to be able to come back and do it again. And right now there's just not the opportunities for a lot of the skaters. I mean, there's not shows the way they used to be. There's not professional competitions the way they used to be. And like they even had the pro-am competitions where professionals and amateurs came together and competed under similar rules. And it was a fun time. I mean, to be in the sport then and to be skating and to be able to, for myself personally, to be able to do a competition either as a teammate or a competitor with, a Brian Boitano or Scott Hamilton or, some of these people that I've, grown up, idolizing and looking up to and, to be on the same ice with them and in shows and both, in competitions. So it was fun. It was great. I mean, I wish they would bring back some of that little spark. And, I think the fans would enjoy it. I mean, they would enjoy seeing some of their favorites who kind of have moved on, but there's not really an avenue or really much for them to do and much for the fans to kind of keep engaged with them. I mean, you look at, I look at like Mirai Nagasu. I mean, she was the last Olympics. I mean, she's doing, Big Brother or whatever she's doing right now on TV. And, there's not a lot of opportunities for her in skating to kind of showcase what she represented to the sport. And there's so many other athletes that are like that. I mean, Jeremy Abbott's another one. I mean, he's a great skater, still skating great today. And I mean, they do a few shows here and there, but it just is very different. And it would be fun to kind of see those type of skaters still going and, still connecting with their fans and their audience the way that, we were able to do that back in the day.
I totally agree. And in 2008, you were inducted to the U.S. Hall of Fame. So, what does that mean to you?
Well, it's amazing. I mean, to be selected to be in the Hall of Fame, to be selected by everyone else who is already in the Hall of Fame, and everybody that's come into the sport and been a tremendous influence on the sport before I was even, a national champion or anything. So, any of those, all those people, to vote me into the Hall of Fame and to be a part of their family and the family of, the future generations of Hall of Fame inductees, it's just a really amazing thing. And it's a cool feeling to know that you're respected enough by your peers to be in that group and to be a part of, the history of the sport.
Wow. And now, besides your skating career, now you also have a coaching career. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm here in Southern California, in Irvine, coaching skaters of all levels. Been working for the last year and a half-ish with Yaroslav Paniat. We had a great season last year. This season, when it didn't go our way, we had some injuries and different things that kind of took us out of contention to try and make a run at Beijing. But it's okay. I mean, he's still pretty young. He's 23, 24 years old. So he's got another shot at going for the next games in 2026. So we'll see what we can do and get him healthy, get him going, and for him, I mean, it's going to be fun. He's an American citizen now, so to be able to compete at the Olympics for the Ukraine and now kind of switching gears and trying to make it back to the Olympics and compete again, hopefully 4 years from now for the United States will be kind of a fun endeavor. And, I mean, I just enjoy it. I enjoy working with the kids and really watching their improvement, watching them grow. And, I reminisce a little bit of my own career of, you know, the first time a student lands a double axel or a double flip or a single axel or, you know, whatever for the very first time. I think on those moments when that happened for me and I was like, wow, you know, yeah, I kind of remember when I landed my first double axel, that was really cool. You know, and so you live a little bit vicariously through your students, or relive, I guess you should say, you know, through your students and what they're doing now and trying to help them, you know, achieve whatever dreams and goals that they have for their skating careers.
Actually, I interviewed Yaroslav maybe last year sometime, and he's amazing. He
Yeah.
admires you so much, and I can see that you have like the perfect chemistry together. The programs are amazing, and I just love his skating. And
Yeah.
I was wishing for him to qualify for this Olympics. I mean, I loved his Elvis Presley program. I don't know if he still has it or not, but I just loved it.
Yeah, we used it this year. I mean, in the limited capacity because we didn't do a whole lot this year. We're gonna come up with something new for next season, but you know, it was a fun number. I mean, we may eventually end up turning it into kind of a show number or something like that, and switch things around a little bit because I mean, he really connected with it, and it was a
Yeah.
good. It was a really good breakout kind of character for him. He had always done
Yes.
something a little more serious, and it's funny because when he's at the rink and he helps out with the learner skate classes and teaching some private lessons for me too, he's got a totally different personality. He's kind of fun and has a great time, and so to utilize the music to help bring that out and get the audience and everybody to kind of engage with him and get a little bit of insight into who he is and how he is and you know, it was fun. I mean, it's fun to watch. I mean, he skated really well, so it was easy to really get
Yeah.
into it and have a great time with it. Yeah.
Actually, after the interview, I was joking with him. You know, he has this blue suit. And I was telling him, no, you have to have the Las Vegas white one. So he said, no, my mom does all my suits. And I was like, okay. So I was tagging him on Instagram, Yaroslav's mom, please make this outfit for your boy. He must have the white one, the Las Vegas one. That's epic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an
Yeah.
amazing skater, and
Yeah.
so hopefully we will see more of him for next Olympics. I mean, that would be amazing.
Yeah, it would be great. You know, hopefully, like I said, I mean, he's got some ankle issues right now, and we're getting that assessed and see what we can do with that. But you know, he'll be back. He'll be feeling strong, and I mean, he's such a unique skater, and he's so talented that, you know, I hope that everything kind of falls into place, and he can really get back to the place where he was the year before, and you know, get back to skating and you know, with all of the amazing stuff that he does. I mean, his quad toes, his quad flips. I mean, he can do quad lutz with his arms over his head. And,
I
I mean,
know.
it's pretty insane. It's funny for me to watch because I'll watch him do a quad flip, and when he does it, it looks so easy. Obviously, I know it's not, you know, but it just looks like, okay, that was an easy quad flip. There you go. No
He's
big
a
deal.
good jumper.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's a great jumper. Great jumper.
Well, now I want to talk about Beijing. I mean, oh my God, at the short program, so many things happened. So I want to hear your comments about the short program. I mean, I was in shock after yesterday, like you said, about Yusuru. I know high expectations, of course, because he's like the two Olympic champion, two-time Olympic champion, and everybody was expecting like a clean program, and he just popped the quad salchow,
Yeah.
and I was
I think
heartbroken. I mean, eighth place at the short program.
Yeah, I think watching him do it as he went into it, I mean, he looked relaxed. He looked
Yeah,
pretty good, you know, and as he took off, I could see the blade, the edge, just slip a little bit,
like he
I
rushed
mean,
or something.
everything happens so fast
Yeah,
that to see that happen, you know that's not gonna nothing. He's not gonna get the lift out of the ice and the timing to
yeah,
be able to pull it off, and you know that's just you know, jerk reaction to go you know, and you pop it, and it's just like, oh God, that's 0 points right there, and that it's just like, oh darn, that's it. So I mean, like we talked about before, I mean, one mistake can make the difference in
yeah.
an Olympics, and you know, I think everyone that was watching had the same reaction, most likely, of like, just that look on their face, like
absolute shock.
I don't believe what I just happened. Yeah, and so I mean, he skated great and beautifully after that.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's confident and he's looking good. And it's just one simple mistake. I mean, he looked at the ice. I mean, maybe there was a hole or a rut or something in the ice that he hit. That it's just one of those things that you can't expect it. It just happens. Outside of that, I mean, the other guys, holy cow! I mean,
holy cow! Yeah, I mean, that's the word.
The number of guys that skated clean or skated really well. I mean, it was astonishing. It was fantastic. And again, you expect that at the Olympics because it's everybody's supposed to be at their best. It's the highest competition. You're supposed to be at your best. And I mean, we can start from the top down. I mean, Nathan was phenomenal. I mean, just
oh my God, yes.
To go out there and one up his own personal best score with another one and a world record at that. I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, the things that he can do and the things that he pulls off and he does, is remarkable. And it's funny, I had a conversation the other day with Brian Boitano, and we both kind of have this same feeling of Yuma Kagiyama as like this phenom, similar to like a Nathan back in the day, where I mean, he does these quads and like he's this high in the air.
I know, but he jumps so high.
And then he just floats down, like he's done with the rotation long before he comes down. It's like, oh, okay, that was a quad toe, no big deal. Or quad south. Like it just comes down like it's easy. And
it's so perfect.
Yeah. I mean, he's been so on top of it and like really, just looking amazing. I mean, and he's fun to watch. It's not like he does jumps and that's it. He's a fun skater to watch. Yes. And he's a great. He's got everything else. So I mean, he's sitting in second place. Obviously, he's got everything else. So
I know.
He's fantastic.
It's like he went to the Olympics with nothing to lose because he was kind of the underdog in Japan. I mean, he was like the third, right? Because you have two Olympic medalists. So he just went to the Olympics to have fun and to do something. But I don't think he even knew he was capable of doing what he's doing right now. I mean, at the team event, he broke his personal best for, I think, 10 points or something like that. And then at the short program, 8 points, his personal best. So what's the deal with this little guy? I mean, he's amazing.
I think, it's funny because you talk about, he's new, he's young, he's not considered the top dog in his country. And, there's a little breath of fresh air to that and excitement to that. You think of, I mean, even though Tara had already won the world championship in 97, going into 98, she was still not considered the top dog going in. I mean, Michelle was, I mean, for her longevity. And so she went into the Olympics just like, okay, I'm going to go in and skate my best. I've been training amazing. I'm going to do my thing. Same thing. I mean, Sarah Hughes in 2002. I mean, not necessarily the top dog going in, just kind of like, all right, she's on the team. She's good. But, well, whatever. And she just went out and skated lights out, skated the best, didn't care about anything. And just everything was like click, click, click. Oh, my God, I skated amazing. And here I am, the Olympic champion. So, I think there's a little bit of that for what he's doing. It's just he's young and he probably doesn't understand as much the magnitude of what's happening. Yet. Because it's just, he's just like, okay, I'm going to go skate and have fun. You can tell he finishes and he's like, yeah, okay, that was fun.
He's just like a little kid jumping, so excited with his dad beside him, having fun, having the time of his life. But he's skating so amazing. I mean, the rest of the guys have to be scared of him.
Well, I mean, that's just it. I mean, if he goes out and he skates a clean, long program, and I mean, he's already proven that he's really good and he's amazing. Anybody makes mistakes. I mean, anything can happen. It comes down to, on the day. I mean, every one of those guys that's at the top has a shot at it. And, if he goes out and he skates great, he's only, 7 points behind or whatever he is. So, or no, 5 points behind. And in the long program, that's not a lot. So, any little mistake and it could go either way. So it's going to be exciting. I mean, at least it makes it fun, and it's it's kind of that who knows what's going to happen.
No, it's going to be crazy. I'm
Yeah.
commentating the Olympics, and it's so hard to commentate when you are seeing things like this. It's like your heart is pounding, and you're like, "Oh my God, I have to talk now." Really?
Well, see, I would probably do the same thing because I'm a fan,
Yeah.
of their skating, and when they don't have their greatest performance, and when they do have their greatest performance, like trying to kind of control your emotions and all that kind of stuff while you're trying to relay to the audience what's actually happening, and technically what's going on, all that stuff. It definitely would be interesting, but yeah, it's fun. I mean, with Yuma, that's fun because I can remember, like you said, his dad's there with him. I competed against his dad, so I mean,
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's fun to watch him and see his dad sitting there with him, and it's a really cool. I mean, having a couple of boys myself, knowing what that would represent, sitting there with your son, and all the work that's gone in, and that you've all developed into a career, and watching it just flourish, and doing it at the best time, it would be pretty fun and amazing to be able to sit there and do that.
That's so cool. And what can you tell us about Shoma?
Oh boy, Shoma, when he got on the ice in the short program for the team event, again, he looked solid. I mean, he nailed the flip, he nailed the jumps. I mean, he had the one little, hand down, whatever, on the toe, but other than that, I mean, he skated great. I mean, he looked really solid, really good, and he looks like he's feeling confident as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you're feeling that, and you're already an Olympic silver medalist and a world medalist, I mean, you're feeling good, and the confidence is there. I mean, he's put out a couple of good performances on the Olympic ice already, so he's going to go out there, and I mean, again, I look to all of them to go out there and just be like, hey, this is anybody's game, let's go get it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily be nervous about, oh God, I don't want to lose, or I don't want, I think they're all just going to go out there and let's fight, let's go, it's time.
And people were kind of worried about Shoma because Stefan wasn't there yet at the team event. But also, Shoma had like 1 or 2 seasons really down, that he couldn't get the jumps in the programs. This last season was really good for him, but people was worried. Was like, oh my God, he's lonely. Stefan is not here. How is he going to skate at the team event? He was so good, and like you said, so confident. And at the short program, he was fighting. That definitely.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, they're all doing it. I mean, they're all looking great. I mean, you look at Maurici, you look at, oh my gosh. I mean, Jason Brown, holy cow. I mean, he's not doing quads, and he's still, in 97 points or wherever he's at, I mean, the quality of everything that he does is as good as anybody has ever
done. So perfect.
Yeah. And yeah.
Actually, I have a question. Okay, so there are so many great skaters right now. We have Nathan, Yuma, and Shoma right now in the 3 first spots. Then we have Maurici, Yevgeny Semenenko, and I don't remember who else. And then we have Yusuru in 8th place. So, which guys do you think could be at the top 3? Like, really, really fighting. I know this is like a question.
I'd have to look at the points. I think Shoma is somewhere around like 98 or something like that. So I mean, whatever, I forget what his points are, but from 3rd place down to where Yuzu is in 8th place, I mean, there's probably only less than 4 points of a difference.
Right here.
Something like that. Yeah. What is he?
Okay, the points right there.
Oh, okay, he's 105. So, I mean, there's 10 points between Shoma and Yuzu.
Yuzu, yes.
Again, 10 points between 3rd and 8th, and then 10 points between 1st and 3rd. So, I mean, you've got certain ranges in there that, I mean, 10 points in a long program is pretty easy to make up. I mean, you look at what happened in the last Olympics. I mean, Nathan was way down in the short program, but then came and like just killed everybody in the long program with, I forget how many points ahead he was of everybody. I mean, he was so far ahead of everybody that if he were in that scenario where he's only 10 points behind, he still could have won. You know, so I mean, again, it's anybody's game, and that's the one thing I'll say that I really like about the IJS judging system.
Yeah.
Is that in my day, if I was in 8th place, which actually I was, I was in 9th place in my last Olympics in the short. There was only so many places you can move up, you know, and you know, based on the factoring. Now it depends on your points. So I mean, if he's only 10 points out of 3rd place, he's still got a shot at a medal. So I mean, for that alone, if Yuzu goes and skates lights out and skates great, and you know, some of the other guys don't skate as well or skate fine, but he eclipses them by 10 points, boom, he's right up in the medals. So I mean, it really is going to be an exciting event to watch. I mean, even for the top 10 guys, I mean, for the most part,
they're so great.
A lot of them have a shot.
I know. Okay. So watching this list, I can see that maybe Yusu can definitely beat Morisi and Jason and Yevgeny, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know about Jung Wan Cha. He's also so great. I mean,
he's great. You know, if Yuzu skates great, he's got more quads in his program than Junhua. But you know, I mean, he's been skating really well too. So I mean, he looked very solid. I mean,
he was so good.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I mean, he actually, it was funny because he was here in the area getting some choreography from Shaylin Bourne, and I was at the rink one day and he was there and he was skating, and it was funny because I didn't know who it was when I first saw him on the ice, and this guy was skating around. He's flying around fast, and I was like, wow, that guy can really skate. And then I realized who it was. I was like, there you go. That's why. Yeah, he's a phenomenal skater. And yeah, like I said, it's going to be anybody's game. I mean, whoever skates it, you know, tomorrow is gonna get it. I mean, you know, it's anybody's game, really.
What about Yusu's quad axel?
You know, I've saw it. I think it was it 2 years ago, maybe something like that, when he was working on it a little bit at the Worlds, I think. And it was pretty close in some of the practice. He wasn't putting in the program, but in the practice they showed some clips of it, and I was like, wow, that's pretty close. I mean, he's got such great jumps, and he really has one of the best triple axels in the business. So, you know, and the attempts that I've seen from him this season, I mean, he's been really close. I mean, at Japanese Nationals, he was close. So, you know, if he goes out there with like, hey, you know what, I got nothing to lose, and he really goes after it and gets that drive up in the air and that snap into the rotation that he needs, I mean, it would be amazing.
I know. It will be
just for
like
the
perfect
event,
scenario.
even if he doesn't win, you know, just for the event and for what it would represent, you know, for somebody like him to be able to do something like that is unbelievable, you know. And I mean, we're breaking world records, and you know, who knows, maybe we could be breaking records with somebody landing the first quad axel. I mean, you know, all in the same event. It's pretty cool.
I think that would be amazing. Something like your last Olympics, you know, talking about the perfect scenario. So I think these Olympics are the perfect scenario for him to land that quad axel. I think everybody's expecting that. I think he's expecting that. I mean, how many times has he said that he doesn't even care about the medals anymore? He wants the quad axel. So,
hey, you know what? If that's where he's at and that's what he wants to get out of it, then I hope it happens. I mean, and even if I would say, as a judge, if I'm a judge and let's say he lands it and it's a little shaky landing maybe or something, he puts a hand down, I wouldn't even care. I would give it a +5. I mean, it's the first time anybody's ever stood up on that kind of thing. I'd be like, yeah, +5, give it a 6. I don't care. Yeah, I mean, it would be. It just would be. It would be astonishing. It would be fun. It would be awesome to watch.
Totally. I agree with you. And last question, and I think this is the most difficult one. Who's your favorite for tomorrow? Like,
oh my Lord, it's always hard to do the favorite thing. You know, again, being here and watching, you know, little bits and pieces of you know, Nathan when he's on the ice here skating. He looks very focused. I mean, he's looked that way both short programs that he's competed there. You know, I mean, he looks super focused and super ready, and I think he's built his confidence over the last couple of days with the team event and the short program that, you know, I think he's going to be feeling it tomorrow and go out there and just skate lights out and you know, get the title. So I think he's going to do it. Again, no, you don't know, but you know, I knowing how he's been skating here and how he skates kind of on a regular basis, you know, if he's in that moment and it's just he's feeling it like he has been since he's been there, it looks like, then yeah, I think it's going to be his event.
I think so many of us are hoping for that. So let's see. Tomorrow is going to be super interesting.
Oh yeah. No matter what happens, you know, good or bad, it's going to be super interesting to watch and fun. Yeah.
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this was amazing. I mean, I really wanted to hear, your expectations, your predictions, and your, like general overview about the Olympics, you being the expert at the Olympics and so many years in figure skating and with your long career and everything. So thank you so much for this amazing interview. It was so much fun. And I'm very honored because, like I said, when I started skating, I was looking up to you. So thank you so much for this. It was so much fun.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Have a great day and enjoy tomorrow.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and see you later. Bye bye.